Just a day before Texas reopens, the state reported the highest amount of deaths in a single day. 50 new coronavirus-related deaths today statewide, more than 1,000 new cases. And good evening, everyone. I'm Jordan Williams. Days Unique has the night off. Let's get straight to the top 3 things that you need to know. Number 1, final preps are underway for Phase 1 to reopen Texas tomorrow. Governor Greg Abbott is stressing that if COVID-19 doesn't flare up with Phase 1, it'll put Texas in a better position to move to Phase 2 come mid-May. Number 2, Texas A&M intends to reopen its 11 campuses for the fall semester and be ready for football. Texas Tech University has also announced it plans to resume on-campus learning in the fall. And number 3, Senator John Cornyn has announced that Beaumont will receive a federal grant, more than $6 million, for coronavirus relief. The Beaumont Municipal Transit plans to use the money to invest in enhanced sterilization procedures. New tonight, a message of caution from Port Arthur Mayor Thurman Bartee as Texas gets ready to reopen. He's worried about the safety of people in his city. 12 News reporter Victoria De Leon explains why.
In less than 12 hours, a number of businesses will begin to reopen, but Port Arthur Mayor Thurman Bartee is encouraging residents to remain cautious. The city is especially worried about the vulnerable population in Port Arthur. That includes those who are 65 and older and people with underlying health conditions. Mayor Bartee is also emphasizing the importance of getting tested, especially for African Americans and Hispanics in Port Arthur, which makes up majority of the residents in the city. As the state begins to reopen, Mayor Bartee is encouraging those who do go out to take those extra precautions seriously.
We're going to have a new normal coming out of this, y'all, whether we want to believe it or not. And we are going to be faced with this, and we can make this new normal work in our favor. But the only way we can make it work in our favor is we've got to agree to it, embrace it, and once we do those things, we'll be able to move forward.
Currently, people are not required to wear face masks in public. However, city officials here in Port Arthur are encouraging you to use them if you do go out. In Port Arthur, I'm Victoria De Leon, 12 News.
Right now, I want to turn to some new information about the cases confirmed here on this Thursday. Beaumont reporting 2 new cases of coronavirus today. That brings the region total to 591 for all of Southeast Texas. There have been 27 deaths and 232 recoveries. Right now, there are 332 active cases in Southeast Texas. You know, while many people are celebrating Texas's reopening tomorrow, some health experts worry this decision could have deadly consequences, especially for minorities. 12 News reporter Jordan James has new info tonight about the toll the virus is taking here at home.
Looking to the fall months when students are supposed to be back in class, it's hard for districts to picture. No decisions have been finalized, but school districts are working on different ways to move forward.
Mind-boggling conversations, to be honest with you.
Planning during a pandemic. It's not easy, and there's not a one-size-fit-all solution. At Hampshire Fannett, school could realistically look like this.
A group of students may attend physical school on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the next week, Tuesday, Thursday, and so we do some kind of rotation like that.
Hampshire Fannett is still recovering from Imelda, and if social distancing is here to stay, there's not enough room to keep kids 6 feet apart. But at PNG ISD, the space is there.
Maybe stagger lunch times if that was needed. Of course, the desk apart in the classroom, we could certainly do that. It makes me sad to think about that, but we would certainly be able to do any of those things. And if that's the guidance that there is, and that's what's best, then we would definitely make it happen.
And right now, BISD says technology is its main focus.
We definitely see a need to increase the number of devices in the hands of our students, so that in the event that, we have to transition back to an online learning platform or a remote learning platform sometime in the fall, we'll be prepared.
It's going to take a lot of time to plan for the fall, but school districts say they're going to make sure their students are taken care of and learning safely. Lauren Hensley, 12 News.
All right, so Lauren there with the perspective on the schools. Let's talk now about total cases in Southeast Texas. Some numbers I was sharing just a second ago. I want to bring them up on the screen now. Beaumont is reporting 2 new cases of the coronavirus today, and that brings the total cases to 592, I believe, in all of Southeast Texas. with now 27 deaths reported. We do want to share that good statistic. 232 people have recovered. Right now, though, still 332 active cases in Southeast Texas. All right, so while many are celebrating Texas's reopening, there are significant concerns about certain demographics that may be especially susceptible. And I want to bring in 12 News reporter Jordan James, who's tracking that.
As Texas prepares to reopen Friday, concerns are starting to increase.
Until we test the majority of the people, how can you say you're going to open a movie theater?
LaShawn Proctor has seen people that he loves fall victim to the coronavirus far too often as a funeral director.
And I tell everyone, if you're okay and you have it, are you willing to take it home to your elderly grandmother, to your elderly parents? Are you willing to take that chance?
A recent report for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention shows that there is a disproportionate number of minorities who are diagnosed with COVID-19.
The disease is known even prior to getting here for disproportionately affecting African Americans. And that's because of the underlying conditions that African Americans tend to have disproportionately.
Beaumont Public Health Director Sherry Ulmer says majority of their cases are minorities.
We do see that happening here. We were aware that that had happened nationwide before we started with cases here, and we're seeing the same trend here.
Out of a sample size of 232 confirmed cases in Beaumont, 50% of cases are Black and 17% are Hispanic. African Americans account for 62% of COVID-19 related deaths.
I think that all people should be careful. I think across the board, everyone should be careful.
While Proctor agrees with Ulmer's message, he says specifically minorities need to be careful as Texas prepares to reopen.
For the lack of knowledge, people perish. And I think that's what we're going to see because the lack of knowledge, lack of information. People are going to perish because they're not going to pay attention.
I reached out to Jefferson County Public Health Director Dr. Cecil Wake, and he says that he believes ethnicity breakdowns for COVID-19 cases are needed now more than ever. Reporting here in Beaumont, Jordan James, 12 News.
Time for an update on our storm tracker forecast. Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn is with us. Sir, what a beautiful afternoon. Just gorgeous out there.
I just wish we could save this and use it, I don't know, maybe in the middle of July or maybe August, because it is just a fantastic afternoon. And the dry weather will persist right on through this weekend. We'll see a moistening and warming trend, so higher humidities are expected, but still ample sunshine, no rainfall expected. This morning was a chilly one. The winds calmed, and we dropped right on down into the lower 50s across Southeast Texas. Lots of sun out there right now, as temperatures are near 80 to the lower 80s. And our forecast this evening calls for a temperature of 78 here in Beaumont with clear skies, falling to 65 at 11. More on how long this gorgeous weather will last shortly on 12 News.
This next story should make you smile. Graduation for seniors, we know it will look different, but that doesn't mean it's not an exciting time. Today, the seniors at Vidor High School waited in line to pick up their caps and gowns. They also got a letter that they wrote to themselves when they were in 8th grade. Definitely a special occasion, even in the midst of all this craziness.
In 8th grade, we wrote letters about everything that we liked, boys we had crushes on, favorite colors, and reading it now, it's kind of embarrassing. I remember writing it, but I'm totally not the same anymore.
And to make it even more special, the 8th grade teacher who had those students write the letters, well, that teacher handed them back 4 years later. By the way, at this point, Vidor has not announced any graduation changes, still tentatively set for May 29th.